Yo, you ready?
I thought we were having a couch.
Mm-mm. Just straight to us.
Alright, guys. Welcome to the TI7 regional qualifiers. We are at the BTS hub.
Yep, start of the EU bracket here. First game we're going to be bringing your guys' way is 4 Protect 5, which is E-Skills, Slash Strike, and a couple of others, versus Crescendo, which is a team comprised of...
You didn't even name 5.
Huh?
He's in the
I'm naming like the
for
well-known
Protect
players.
5. He's the 5.
But I'm naming the people who are well-known so that the people who don't know the team would maybe
Well,
recognize
if you don't
the
name
player.
5, he remains unknown.
Okay, so E-Skills, Slash Strike, 5, Dancing Dragon, and Itakaka,
Thank you.
which is a very weird name.
I'm gonna have no trouble saying that.
No trouble at all. All right, well, we are into the draft, so you guys can see right now. Crescendo opening with the Sand King Lone Druid. 4 Protect 5 going the Puck and the Clockwork route. So, you know, based on region, at least for European, this seems like pretty stock and standard, right? Like nothing too out of the ordinary, I guess. The Silencer has been receiving a bit more attention lately in the European region, I think, due to its popularity in other areas. But so far, I guess the Lone Druid is probably the only standout pick to me.
I would say the Lone Druid is definitely a very strong meta hero. It's just that not every team has a Lone Druid player. So you do see team like Team Liquid that gets to have a strong drafting advantage, in my opinion, when it comes to this phase of the game.
Okay. So you just think that opening like Lone Druid in the first two is more about, you know, you secure yourself a pretty solid lane. If you have someone who's good enough at the hero, then it just kind of warrants picking.
I think different teams have different philosophies with Lone Druid. I think Team Liquid in particular waits it till like fairly late, because they would like see the draft as it develops and they ask Matu, it's like, okay, is this a good Lone Druid game? And if it says, okay, then they pick it. So I don't think I've seen Lone Druid pick this early, at least not for the bear form, right? When he was in the sniper mode, like he was picked like first phase every time. But
people seem to have gone back towards the bear build. I forget what tournament it was, but maybe it was Zotac. There was a team who was running the Radiance bear build, the old school, and then he went for the Aghanims as well, and they ended up winning a game because he just
it was
their entire base.
It was the Shanghai event with Team Liquid took #1. I think that was right after the patch change.
Right.
And then obviously Bear got a whole bunch of buffs. Yeah, so it's probably Shanghai. Shanghai Star Ladder I-League Invitational #2.
Yeah, the I-League Invitational.
Because whenever I say Shanghai, people think of...
Why did I think it was Zotac? I don't know. It was a smaller tournament, but pretty funny game to watch nonetheless. So third pick here, Clockwork and Puck already a ton of catch on their own. You've got your, I guess technically it can still be support. We've been seeing it back and forth. I think that Clockwork support is okay as long as you have a lot of other disables to pair with it, because a lot of the time what ends up happening is in the early stage you don't have a playmaking hero, because Clockwork is really hard to actually secure kills with. But once you hit 6 obviously and you have Hook, it can be great. But they're going to go with the CM. Really good partner for both of the heroes that they currently have.
So I'm looking at these two support heroes, and I think that, like you said, they are going to be able to impact the game relatively early on. But then once the Lone Druid comes online, I feel like then they do, like...
Lone Druid is not scared of a Clockwork or a Puck or a CM,
right.
I guess.
So I just think that they might be in trouble once we're looking at, you know, 20, 25 minutes into the game.
Perhaps. But again, it depends. Like when you pick CM Aura, you typically have this idea of playing a faster paced early game.
Sure.
Because that's what the Aura allows you to do. You spam your spells a little bit more, you can be proactive on the map. And this is also assuming that we've already seen both of supports, but we don't know if it's going to be Clockwork off lane just yet.
Do you have a preference to having Clock as a support or an off lane?
I just want to see more picks before I can really decide. There's a couple of criteria, I think, before you can really put him in that full-fledged support role. Like I said, you're going to need other disables on your team, at least in the early game stage, if you want to try to get kills. If your only intention is really to just farm, then I think it's also okay, because he can kind of stop aggression, but he's not always really great at getting kills himself. He kind of needs a helping hand to get into melee range sometimes to really be super effective.
All right, so talk to me about the AA here. Normally you pick them as a counter to a lot of these kind of healing heroes like Necrofalls or I don't know, Chen or even the Omni Knight. But here, to me, he's almost a liability to Clockwork, who could pretty much kill him at any position, any spot in the game.
It depends though, right? Like what is the safe lane going to be comprised of a Crescendo? That's the hard part. The Sand King can still be off lane. They can even put the Lone Druid in any lane that they want to. that's kind of the strength of the second pick Lone Druid, is the ambiguity of it.
Sure.
Saying, okay, this hero can go pretty much anywhere, has very good matchups against most heroes, is hard to gank, and he's going to get farm. So by picking up an Ancient Apparition and only showing a Sand King, you can maybe assume that it's going to be a Sand King support. But we don't know what capacity this Ancient Apparition is going to be playing just yet. Are they going to go for something, you know, you see like AACK, for example, stuff like that. You pair it with a stun, you pair it with something that can benefit from Chilling Touch. There's a lot of options. I don't think it's necessarily a huge laning weakness when you see the other team also picking a Crystal Maiden. Because a lot of the time, Crystal Maiden doesn't really move around too much. Kind of just depends on how killable the enemy team's lanes are. And if they're not, typically what you see is just jungling. And then she'll get more points into aura to help her team be able to sustain their mana pools in lane.
At the very least, as a 5, the A combines fairly decently with Sand King. You pop the cold feet on, Barrel Strike comes in.
Yeah.
So you
Searing
get a
Chains too now.
decent stun. Yeah, there you go.
10 seconds.
And the Ember is really strong here. Not a lot of catch besides the puck. The silence is really the thing that you want for him, but there's not really a lot of hard stuns. Just hookshot really, and I guess a coil break.
I mean, Frostbite is annoying to Ember, but you know,
yeah,
he could play around that, I guess.
I think that at one point, you know, the Ember, if he goes Manta or BKB or Yules, like there's so many items that you can buy to dispel now, even Lotus Orb, if he feels like he wants to go that far. Typically don't see that item, but it's always an option. So one more, I guess we're looking for another support or a core for 4 Protect 5. Well, I guess we'll finally see what the Clockwork is going to be doing. Kunkaban here from 4 Protect 5 as well. So they think it's going to be
An
off-lane Sand King. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't hate Rubik this game for Crescendo either. I think it's really nice to have against these heroes that have mobile skills, like Puck. You can steal Orb, you can steal Shukuchi. It's another stun. It's an instant stun as well.
Dire team pick.
We'll see though. OD
Moment of
ban,
truth
so
here.
they're assuming offlane Puck support Clock.
Yeah, I think off-lane Puck support Clock, in fact, as a lane combination, isn't too bad. Like, they have a lot of kill potential, a lot of harass potential as well, especially against some of the weaker support, let's say AA.
If you can get in close, that's the point where Clockwork becomes super strong.
Right.
If you're at level 3 and you have 2 battery and 1 cogs, you can very, very easily secure kills. Okay,
all right,
there it is,
well,
the brick.
Andy calls it
Radiant team pick.
with a support Rubik pick.
Well, it's another thing too, because it's an EGM hero, right?
Sure.
And it's like not really that hard of a call when you look at the player and then how good of a Rubik game this can potentially be. It also is very good against Clockwork for obvious reasons. You can lift them out of cogs. Sometimes it's not about the spells that you can steal that are like big ultis. It's about being able to get skills that are just straight up useful and being able to keep you alive. And that's what Shukuchi and Illusory Orb offer you, is just that survivability in fights.
Right, needing a mid here. Surprisingly, the Lina has remained unchecked.
They have a lot of playmaker heroes already, so I'm thinking it's something a little bit more farm-oriented. They would be nice if they could get a Shadow Fiend, but it's banned.
Bristleback.
Okay.
Okay, so we've been seeing Bristleback from the mid row a couple times already today. Teams have been playing it there. Black, in particular for Faceless, has been using it. Do you want to talk about Bristleback maybe in the mid row and how that might be different compared to, let's say, a carry Bristleback or an offlane one?
I don't think they really build that differently, to be honest. I
yeah,
think
they always go like Vanguard.
It's just the item
Bird.
timings are much faster, obviously,
Sure.
when you're going to the mid lane. So you're going to have your... I guess in this game, he probably wants a pipe, too. Just between the AA, the Ember, and the Sand King, you're really going to want to build both, I would assume, at least a Vanguard and maybe the full pipe. If he
Right.
wants to go back for Crimson, it's not terrible.
I mean, I think personally the big difference there is you get faster levels on the mid lane, right? So you do hit,
Right.
let's say, level 10, perhaps a little bit quicker, if that's indeed
5
important. But
seconds remaining.
4 Protect 5 with their draft, Crescendo with theirs. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna say I prefer Crescendo's a little bit more.
I do too. I think breaking high ground is going to be a bit of a struggle for 4 Protect 5. That's the strength of like AA Sand King. You can hold your high ground for almost indefinite amounts of time. You know, you can blink stun, throw AA blasts. Between that, you have Rubik with a bit of wave clear. Depending on what build Excalibur goes, if he goes the traditional Radiance Bear, you're also going to have some pretty good side lane push with the Ember. It's just a very well-rounded draft, in my opinion.
It's a draft that I feel like they could play from behind as well as ahead. Whereas I feel like for Protect 5 wants to be a little bit ahead for a majority of the game in order to play relatively well.
I think it's also going to be difficult for the Weaver to have one of those solo carry games because there are 2 really fast disables coming out from Crescendo, and there's also that Rubik. Giving away Shikuchi is something that's just going to happen. You can't really protect it all the time because you only have 2 other spells, one of which is your ultimate, and then Swarm is a pretty long cooldown anyway. Even at level 4, it's still 20 seconds. And a lot of these games, you pick Weaver with the idea of being able to just get carried away with a team that doesn't have a whole lot of disable on it, like no hard lockdown, no silences. You just get enough farm to a point where you can just fight, and it doesn't matter what they do because they just can't catch you. This game, it's going to be a bit different.
All right, we got some early warding going on. It seems like for Protect 5, able to get some relatively deep ward.
Oh, they swapped it up. Okay, so they are going to change it. They're going to put the Bristleback in the off lane. They swapped heroes, so Puck is going to end up going mid, and it'll be against Ember. So this
right, when I saw the Bristleback, I just because we were talking about how they needed a mid, and I was just in that mind frame. But yeah, you're absolutely right that the Puck makes way more sense there.
I think it's just one of those things where you're so used to seeing the heroes nowadays, and they can just go to either lane.
Right.
That sometimes it just depends on what the team feels is best for the situation. Because against Ember, I don't think Bristleback does bad. They just probably want the Puck to get a faster blink, to play their fast-paced style with the Clockwork support.
Well, Crescendo is going to be invading the jungle. They will get a rune on Cinderin, it seems. Offensive trialing here, featuring a lot of disables. I think this is where I think A shines the most, whether like especially when he goes on the offensive. 3 runes GG. Thank you, person. All right, we're good.
You can leave the chat channel, right?
I just disable spectator chat.
Yeah. We good. We good. So it looks like eSkills is going to be starting mid, just giving the Puck a little bit of an easier time. Even just getting the range creep denied, like taking off the Flame Guard like this, impacts the lane so much.
Yeah. Largely, this is due to the fact that BBK did not get a good enough of a block compared to Slash Strike, as a result allowing the Clockwork to kind of walk behind the lane like that.
I think what happened was eSkills cogged his lane. Or no, sorry, I didn't cog, he just did regular body block. He obviously has battery. Bottom lane, 5 getting a bit low here.
Yep.
But just having the support stand mid and block, whereas Crescendo, they started with 3 bottom to contest the bounty rune, so that's why the block was different. It wasn't that he had a bad block, it was that his support wasn't blocking for him.
Well, as a result, he has to pay for it dearly here. BBK taking a ton of that damage. The right clicks are coming through. I'm not sure if it's enough for first blood. There's a lift, there's a toss back into the tower. Now eSkills in a lot of trouble, a couple more right clicks coming through. He will also survive. Everyone dropping very low, but no first blood to be had here on the mid lane.
Some nice trades though. Slash Strike definitely winning out on this. Still has a salve. Only had to pop 1 tango so far.
Sure. Clockwork took most of that damage, but he'll walk it back in. Crescendo. EGM will give up the first blood instead. Slash Strike playing very aggressively. All right.
Interesting. EGM overstaying his welcome there a little bit.
Perhaps expecting the phase shift out of the Puck at level 2. That's more of the common skilled up here, but and the fact that Slash Strike has been more than aggressive in pressuring BBK.
This is actually the common build now for Puck against Ember, because phase shift doesn't offer you anything against Ember's damage.
Yeah. And you want to be leveling up that Waning Rift, as you know, BBK is always going to be at melee range anyways, and that's, you know, your stronger nuking capability to actually set up kills.
Really likes the play so far from Slash Strike. He's pretty much playing this lane as good as you could possibly have asked him to. It looks like all the other lanes are actually favoring Crescendo at the moment, though, outside of mid. Bottom lane, it's going to be a bit of a struggle here, considering there are now a full-fledged tri-lane from the side of Crescendo up against the Weaver. This is the main hero, I think, that they want to keep down is, wow, BBK is actually going to be dropping again here in mid. Just the boots on the Clockwork is enough. 2 points into Illusory Orb, 2 points into Waning Rift. Just kill him again.
Yeah, this is really helpful for the Weaver in the bottom lane. You can see that EGM in particular has been pulled off of the bottom lane multiple times now. Ake now joining him as well. They're going to try to set up a kill here. Not exactly sure whether this is enough disable time to make that Kofi tick in. And honestly, all they can kill is E-skills. They're going to try to think. Cog's going to be there. He just walks away, gets lifted back into his own Cogs. He will go down. Slash Strike going for the EGM kill. He will get it. I think this is for Protect 5 advantage for that exchange.
Definitely. Committing more heroes, trading 1 for 1. The team who has to commit less to get the same amount is going to always come out on top. And also keep in mind that Ake was the one who got the kill on the Clockwork, whereas Slash Strike got the kill on EGM.
Yep.
So the mid player receives the majority of the gold.
Despite the fact that there is a jungling Crystal Maiden, 4 Protect 5 is playing as much more efficiently on the map, able to get a lot more. Dancing Dragon is now level 2. That's very standard skill build.
Middle lane again.
Be a kill? No, he's not going to dive under the tower, but
he had some stick charges, a little bit risky.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, no point into that phase shift just yet here. BBK going to get wrapped around again. Flame Guard on cooldown for a long time. He does have those stick charges. We'll probably need to rely on them, but actually E-skills getting blocked by some Bobo creeps in the woods, and he will not be able to actually set up any damage.
That was so unfortunate for him.
He gets a rune. Okay.
Lucky for BBK though. I think if he keeps dying like this.
EGM? Oh, EGM's donezo, right?
Yeah, I think so. Good lift.
Okay, he's gonna get a kill. E-skills will get Kofi'd in, but he is too far away. So you don't normally see a puck going off as hard as he is right now, but
they set him up for it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. They realize that their lineup is very mid-game oriented. The Weaver's having a hard time in lane comparatively to the safe laner of Crescendo as well. So the Lone Druid is going to be able to farm no matter who they send up there, but the Weaver can actually be pressured in lane pretty heavily as long as there's multiple heroes. So giving this puck a really fast Blink Dagger is going to allow them to control the pace of the game. He's 2 levels higher than this
kill.
Emperor.
Make it perhaps even 3 if he does it. Yeah, there you go. BBK.
My goodness.
Gets absolutely defecated on the mid lane. He's going to be going for the Veil of Discord first instead of the Blink Dagger. And I think with that early Veil finish, he could just kill anybody, right? Even the Lone Druid, I think, would just go down.
He's doing the snowball build. So you start with the Null, you buy into the second one. He skips Bottle because he has CM Aura anyway. And he's just doing so much damage with the double Null. Like the right clicks are being constantly underestimated. Scan
and this
even
is where
gonna hit too.
And this is where you look at your backline support. You have a level 2 Rubik, you have a level 2 AA, and you have a puck that is spotting everybody. So what is the game plan here? Just avoid ganks? That's really the only thing you can do, right?
Well, they might be able to get a return kill here.
Okay, we'll get it here, yep.
The one weakness of the support duo that Crescendo has, actually hold that thought. Might be seeing the Ember die again. No coil though.
Yeah.
But the support duo kind of has to be together. That's the issue that they're currently having. If Ake and EGM aren't walking around the map as 2, they offer very little kill potential in comparison to if they were both together, because then you have the cold feet, chilling touch with the lift that guarantees the stun. So because they have to be together all the time, they're almost guaranteed to be less efficient if they're not continually getting kills. Because like you mentioned before, the CM has been, you know, more or less jungling most of the time, and sure, the Weaver's suffering, but the middle lane is more than making up for that.
Yeah, we've seen these kind of dual roaming strategies as well also be a lot more predictable, right? Because you're going to be much more prepared with the 2-man rotation. 5, unfortunately, was not prepared. Got lifted right into your Burrow Strike. And
big kill.
That was a kill, yeah. Also, BBK trying to jungle his way up to level 6 because he really needs that defensive fire remnant to survive. Looks like he'll be able to get it from this camp.
He can't show on middle lane with the puck being this over-leveled if he doesn't have remnants. So having the ability to retreat in case stuff starts to go downhill is completely necessary in a situation.
Well, we're going to have a 7-minute Veil finish on Slash Strike.
Yeah, he's insanely farmed.
I actually think that even with the defensive fire remnant, he could kill him through the Waning Rift Silence with the Veil.
It's possible. Not at full health, though.
Oh, he's going to harass him.
He still clicks really hard.
Yeah. Slash Strike in the trees, thinking about it.
He even gets the ping out. He has the ward, too, so he should be able to see him coming in from pretty far away. Meantime, bottom, they were trying to set up another gank, it looks like, but there's a lane ward down the sentry is actually not connected on. So it looks like 5 is not going to fall for the same shenanigans 2 times in a row.
Because how successful eSkill's early game roam is, he is also level 5 now, so not too far away to be.
Wow, he is level 5?
Yeah.
My god.
I mean, he's got so much experience in terms of forcing out kill in the mid lane, comparing to, again, the level 3 of EGM and Ake. This is a big problem here for Crescendo. Smoke up here for Protect 5. They will make the rotation up top. A very difficult kill here to get on the Lone Druid. Level 8 already. Does have the Savage Roar, obviously. So we'll see how they're going to be able to set it up.
If the Clockwork catches him, they should be able to finish him off, I think.
I think they're going to run right into Ake, though. No, they're going to swing by. Excalibur in a lot of trouble. Oh god, he's pincered in from both sides. There is a Savage Roar to Cogs. Perfect! Excalibur will be going down here. The kill goes to Atakaka.
Nice movement.
Yeah.
Really impressed with the way that 4 Protect 5 are playing this early game. Obviously, eSkills and Slash Strike have had a stand-up performance.
Coil?
Yeah, Coil.
Ooh, that is going to be a kill. Raining Rift. 2 more right click is necessary. There is no magic.
Oh, he canceled.
Wait.
Oh.
Bourget.
That was a little bit of a mechanical mistake, but you know what happens. He's going to miss out on the kill because of it.
Wait, rockets? The fire shield keeps BBK alive. All right, we're good. That was a butt clench, but you know, it's fine.
He gets away. He's recovering too. Like his CS isn't really that bad if you compare like how much of a struggle the early game was. So
yep.
BBK, in terms of the farm, he's actually doing okay. It's just a matter of, oh my god, that does so much damage.
But perhaps Beta Slash Strike now lifted right into a Cinderen's hug. And that is going to be killed. Killing spree now goes to BBK. Perfect rotation coming up. Crescendo catching up their mid player. And like you kind of were mentioning, it's not too hard for a hero like Ember Spirit to make that catch. You just come into a team fight with triple Remnant. And you just kind of right back in the game. So still though, that was great movement from Crescendo.
And no vision of the high ground, was unable to scout the TPs in from the supports. They're kind of huddling around bottom here. Looks like they just want to kill the tower with the level 4 bear.
Yep.
It's got that sick demolish damage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think Kaka relatively silent up top here, keeping a ton of gold in his bank. 2,000.
Probably just deciding what he wants. I think it's a very good hood game, but Bristleback universally also wants Vanguard.
Sure. Burrow Strike into the tower right now. The Cogs actually cogging the Baron. It looks like the Clockwork will go down, but the Coil coming through. That is going to be kill on Ake. How much more can they get? EGM will also go down, and now the Weaver on the chase. Cinderen should be fine, and you see Waddles off.
Definitely a worthwhile trade there for 4 Protect 5. Getting the 2 supports, maybe not the highest of bounties per se, but they keep the tower alive.
Yep.
When the Lone Druid groups up like that, you know he really only has one objective. He just really gets those tier 1s down, starts to take over the map, get the Radiance.
Oh, Excalibur.
I think he's okay. It's really hard to man fight a Lone Druid like this.
The bear says, yeah, I'm the real carry for now. Get out of my face. 5. Gotta be careful. If he gets rooted, he is going to be forced to pop his ultimate. Does have a large amount of magic wand, so he should be fine.
Oh, hook shot, top lane.
Okay.
On Excalibur.
Just getting pushed out right now. Savage Lord. They might actually lose the bear, which the 300 goal is going to...
Yeah, I think it's the...
Oh, denied? The question mark. Nicely done.
Okay, top tower is also very low. See if Crescendo wants to move in here. They do have TPs available.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Dancing Dragon level 6 right now. Looking to set up a kill on Cinderen.
I don't know if they can kill him. If he gets frostbitten, he can just TP if he gets in trouble. Yeah, there he goes.
Heal coming out. Not enough burst damage. I think he was waiting for the Bristleback to get a couple more quill stack, but
yeah,
Cinderen was backing off.
They executed it probably as good as you could have. It's just a matter of, with only 1 stun, it's very hard to kill a Sand King.
Right. Well, it seems like the snowball bill of Puck has not exactly paid off. I mean, he's joined fights and he's picked a couple of people off, but...
Look at how close he is to Blink, though. I think we have to reserve our judgment until we're able to see what he can do with the dagger.
Sure. That is a fair point.
And he's also still pretty darn farmed. The Ember has recovered pretty much in every single way. Like he's tied in net worth, but they are the 2 highest net worth as well. So it's not like the Puck isn't farmed, it's just that BBK has made a pretty solid recovery from his early lane.
E-Skills, Rocket flying over the Dire camps. EGM desperately searching for his level 6 as well. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of excellent spells to steal. What is this neutral creep doing?
No one knows. Sometimes pathing of the neutrals is really weird. I've seen like that small camp in particular.
Mid lane.
Run back and forth.
Sorry to cut you off here. EGM, sorry, Ake in particular gets caught back out, but Epicenter comes out. Clockwork Hook goes right in, does not cancel the channeling of the ultimate. In fact, eats all of it to his face. E-Skill dropping very low. Slash Strike gets out of it. E-Skill still alive for now. Here comes the swarm onto a couple of heroes. Cinder and Burrow strikes away. I don't think BBK will die. No, in fact, he will. No mana to actually get out of the sticky situation. End of day here is going to... Oh, not done here. Slash Strike goes right back in. And like you said, immediately right after the Blink Dagger pickup, he is super effective.
Stun it again.
Yeah, they will get the Weaver. Okay, Cinderin also super effective with his Blink Dagger purchase. Puck goes right back in. Orbs the other way, and the right click.
Does so much damage. So overall, it wasn't too bad of a trade, I guess, because they ended up killing the Weaver, but losing BBK and then after the fact,
they lost both
EGM
supports, right?
Yeah. Well, at the very beginning, they lost Ake. So he was only level 4 at that point. But being there for the Weaver death, he's now a lot closer to level 6.
Yep.
That's the one problem with AA. I'm pretty sure EGM also bought the Tome, which is why Ake is so underleveled at this stage. But once he gets 6, having that blast, they will be able to pretty much kill anyone, I think.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't really...
Again.
Nope.
TP out here from
Ooh, them creeps, but the Cogs though! That looked like a very long TP. Cinderin will Burrow Strike away, Dancing Dragon with the Nova, and Slash Strike picks up the kill.
That was sick. Yeah,
very flashy play from Fort Protect 5. But as I was saying, I feel like something we haven't talked about is Crescendo supports are very level dependent rather. Both of them needing 6 very desperately.
Once they get it though, it's going to be a huge power peak, if you want to call it that.
Yep, good bump. Atakaka now has Hood and Vanguard finish, as well as a well-charged Magic Wand. So he is, I mean, this is really his first peak of power as well. Looks like he's going to lead his team to try to mow down this tier 1. Does have the Bugatti to help him out as well.
I wonder what they actually do about this. Do they just throw the blast, or do they go for a full-fledged defense? They do have Epi and Blink on Cinderin. It just seems really hard to commit to a Bristleback with these items this early. Like level 13, 1800 health, Hood Vanguard, lots of stick charges, and even an infused raindrop on top of that. This hero is going to take a lot of damage to bring down.
And very smartly, the rest of the team is staying so far back, right? Because they know the only time they lose a team fight is they do group up for an AA Blast and an Epicenter. So they send their tanky hero up front. They get tier 1 tower relatively for free. BBK does not get to deny either. So
I think it was a good risk assessment there from Crescendo, just not deciding to try to commit to that hero.
Right.
It just seems incredibly difficult. I mean, you have BBK now with the bots. He's going to be able to go around the map and farm up, keep his remnants out. Be pretty hard to kill. It's going to have to be a commitment of the Puck first and then a hook shot after that to be able to take him out at this point.
Yep. Well, the pacing of the game has slowed down, or is somewhat slowed down considerably, and I feel like that favors Excalibur's Lone Druid. Do you disagree with that, or?
I think it does too. Giving the Ember and the Lone Druid time to farm is not necessarily that something 4 Protect 5 wants to do, but you have to still take good engagements. You can't just run all willy-nilly at the enemy, especially against like Sand King AA. Great turnaround potential between those 2 heroes.
Yeah. I am surprised by the fact that the Ember did go for the Breach of Travel because, you know, Lone Druid is generally the hero that you want to protect for a while. So you want a hero that can fight. Atakaka eats an Ice Blast as well as a Burrow Strike, but he doesn't care. Mid lane, Clockwork Hook finds Excalibur. He's trapped in the cogs for now. Coil not being used. There's a coil. Now Excalibur inside there. The Veil, the Waning Rift. But here comes Cinder, and huge epicenter on 2 heroes. They're going to try to kill the Puck, but Puck should be absolutely fine. Crystal Maiden drops a big ultimate on the backline. Cinderin should go down, and he does. E-skill extremely low. Caustic Finale does not take him down, so he's fine. Back on the right side here, BBK drops low. The bug's on him right now. He jumps away. No, he does not. As Takaka gets the last hit. Crescendo, EGM on the run as well. I think Takaka should be able to chase him down. EGM unable to get himself to Sakuchi. And all of a sudden, from what I said, a very slow game, 4 Protect 5 finds 4 kills and gets him good.
They just went off on that fight.
Yeah.
The reaction from Crescendo was pretty fast in trying to save Excalibur there, but unfortunately it was just too little too late. Cinderin was there almost right away.
Yep.
Like he got the epi off, it was a ton of damage. There just wasn't enough follow-up to really get the kills. And after that point, Remnants were committed. Like you mentioned, EGM, he accidentally stole Swarm instead of Shikuchi, so he wasn't able to just run away.
Yeah.
A lot of things, unfortunately, not working out there for Crescendo, and 4 Protect 5 looking to be in a pretty solid position. They're not out of the woods just yet. It's a 6K net worth lead. They still have to concentrate on being able to do stuff like Roshan, for example. And skills may be in some trouble.
Ice Blast gonna be on top of his face, and he is gonna burn down. E-skills will give the kill to BBK. Something that we did mention is that once the Radiant Spear comes online, a lot of 4 Protect 5 will have a lot of issues dealing with that. But until then, Excalibur needs to duck his head low and keep farming in the jungle.
I think the Lone Druid Radiance timing, when you're looking at this hero, the big thing for me is how farmed are the supports of the enemy team versus the Radiance.
Right.
So like if you have a Glimmer or you have a couple of items that give you some durability in the fights, the Radiance burn doesn't seem like it's as effective. But if you're just sitting on like Tranquil Boots and that's it, it can be an absolute nightmare for support heroes like Crystal Maiden. So,
yep.
Like you mentioned, emphasis on being able to finish that item sooner rather than later. He doesn't have the recipe yet either.
Yeah, he is really far away.
I thought he had the recipe already, but considering he doesn't, this is actually going to be relatively late for a safe lane.
I mean, 1, 2, and 2 doesn't look like that bad of a score, but I feel like for Lone Druid in particular,
he did get 3-man ganked.
Yeah.
And then the middle lane, when they went on him, they pretty much dumped the kitchen sink. So I feel like those 2 deaths, when they commit that much, they're going to be able to take you down. You just have to hope that your other lanes are compensating for how much commitment there is.
I think one thing to point out is that I feel like the Crescendo supports are like the worst supports you could have if you're getting initiated on. Like I think they work much better when you're the one that's running the show, as it were. And so far, they've been jumped pretty much every single time. So
that's just all due to the Puck and the Clockwork having such a great early game, though.
Right.
And that's the kind of momentum that 4 Protect 5 needs to maintain. It's not a situation where you can just become, you know, lethargic in your play and think that, okay, we're in a pretty good spot, let's just farm.
Oh, for sure. And I think they are going to get that momentum rolling. Top tier 2 is going to be going down as we speak. At Takaka, again, doing his slow machine sieging of every single tower. 5 is going to be queuing up a Diffusal Blade, so Ghost Scepters that might be coming out will be ineffective.
I like the Diffusal Weaver.
Yep.
I think against heroes like AA especially, even Lone Druid, they don't have a lot of escape mechanisms. They just pretty much run. You get rid of that buff on him as well, the Rabbit.
Yes.
And you just run him down.
Yeah, well, the change to the Rapid, it made it last longer, but the cooldown of it also increased by quite a bit. And just purging that Rapid...
It's gone, like, forever.
Yeah, the Lone Druid without Rapid is just a totally different hero. Like
great against Flame Guard as well.
Sure. So a lot of good things for him to purge this game. And like you mentioned, the momentum needs to be continuously applied. And that's exactly what's happened. I wonder when they're going to go into the Roshan pit, whether they're going to take that last tier 2 first.
I believe they now have a
right
Solar
now?
Crest. Oh, no, sorry. He has enough to finish it, but he has not gotten it on the curry. He might be walking there now.
Yeah, walking to the side shot, pick up the Solar Crest. I mean, it is scary, sort of. Like, there is Ice Blast, there is Burrow Strike.
Oh, yeah. Like, Sand King AA are great around Roshan. Even heroes like Ember Spirit can be good, too, because such close proximity means if you land a good offensive Remnant or two, you're just dealing a ton of damage. So it's not something that they can just walk into and just take. But if they find a good pick-off, maybe they can force a buyback or something. They can test the Roche. Even stuff like that can be useful.
Yeah, Sand King is probably the ideal pick for 4 Protect 5 to start the Roshan. Annoyingly, EGM has stolen Rocket Flare. He's just like
rocket in the pit.
non-stop to making sure that that's not happening. I'm sure that to a certain degree is also making Fort Protect 5 a little bit hesitant. Excalibur says his jungle is not safe enough to farm, so he is in the enemy jungle, and he does have the Radiance finish now, so it's a little bit late, but better late than never. He's now pressuring tower.
This bear hits so hard.
Yep.
This tower is getting annihilated.
It's done. Back on the right side here. Oh, Cinderen's going to get caught out here. That is going to be the one kill. BBK allowing the bear to be retreat. E-Skills does not have hook anymore. Slash Strike jumps forward, jaunts forward. Does have Yules perhaps to look to cancel some TP. Does not get vision on the bear. And I think that this will be the moment to perhaps think about the Roshan pit, but
he's only dead for 25 seconds. It's going to take
yeah,
a
they
while
don't do
for
it
them
that
to get in
fast.
position.
Yeah, especially without the Deso and the Weaver. Because he's gone for the Diffusal Blade, and he does have it finished.
I still think that's an excellent choice for this game.
Oh, I don't disagree at all. But
I mean, look at Ake's items. What happens if a Weaver just shows up with a Diffusal Blade and a Linken's, and you got brown boots?
I mean, you're playing AA. Like, that should be your, you know, you're just dead, right? That's
the other thing, too, about Ake is, like, one of the big differences between a lot of AA players. In the past, what you would see is them playing it super greedy and just going to Midas.
Yep.
And then you just farm side lanes. He can't really do that in this game. And I think he's the type of player who likes to play the self-sacrifice role instead of being the guy who buys a Midas. I don't really see that being him. I see that being EGM, obviously.
Sure. I mean, like, this is a duel that we watched for throughout the years, and it's always EGM that's rising away, so no surprise there. But, you know, like, kind of extending your point there, that does mean your AA walking into the mid and late game, he's going to be under farm, so no Aghanim Scepter. He's also going to be under level, so no level 18 ultimate either, till much later. So that is going to be a big boon for heroes like the Bristleback and the Clockwork.
For sure. I feel like they maybe wanted to accomplish more with their dual supports and E-Skills.
Okay. They're going to find themselves a support kill. But I think Cinder might have to pay for it here. Yeah, he's done so.
They do force a lot of the heroes on the side of Fort Protect 5 back in the process. Ultimately, they're trading support for offlane, which on paper, still pretty okay for Fort Protect 5. Big thing here, again, just buying more space for Excalibur, buying more time for BBK.
Yeah, I think the space in itself is worth more than that kill, right? Like, even though you're trading, what, 4 for 3?
Yeah, and I mean, even though they committed Epi as well, Roshan had already been claimed, so it doesn't really even matter. You don't need the Epi to contest Roshan anymore. You just wanted to try to get some time for your course.
So, you know, we kind of mentioned about the Weaver. It's nice to get the Diffusal Blade. There's a lot of things to purge. Obviously, much more for fighting. But talk to me about lacking the Deso, and now, you know, if you're looking to take objective, whether it's Roche, whether it's this last tier 2 and tier 3, Deso definitely would have made a much bigger impact there. And it looks like he's going to be skipping it for, you know, BKB as well.
In terms of Siege, absolutely. Like, you're going to miss the minus armor for sure.
Right.
But I don't really think they lack that much tower damage. Bristleback's pretty good at hitting the building because he's just so tanky. Weaver is still not really a full-fledged ranged hero. You know, he's only sitting at the 425 attack range, but you have Puck as well, who actually does hit relatively hard with his level 15 talent of the plus 50 damage.
They're going high ground.
Yeah, their siege isn't bad, and even with the lack of the Desolator, I think the benefit that the Diffusal gives you in just fighting in the open is still worth the investment.
I hear you. Burrow Strike's going to start things off on Atakaka. He does not have the Aegis, so it looks like they are thinking about starting on him, but he is so damn tanky. Here comes a chain here on him, but again, it's a Bristleback that you're going into. He might be perma-stunned, but they don't care. 5, Gork on the tower. Ice Blast going to be on top of 2. They now go on the Bristleback again. He's being dropped relatively low, but still not dead. Coil drops out on the backline here. BKB as well as EGM getting stunned, and now Crystal Maiden cleans up, gets the 1 kill. Weaver's inside looking for EGM, gets the 2nd. They are working on him, but 5 time lapses away. Buyback being forced out on the BBK. 5 walks back, resets the fight. He still has Aegis, so he's not worried at all. Comes in, huge waning rift on top of 2. That's going to be 1 more kill. That's a dieback on BBK. Synderen jumps in and just straight up dies as well. Crescendo, wow, might be hitting a sour note here as they are looking to lose out this game, or at least this first lane of Rax.
That was a very, very fast ending. The dieback on the Ember just guarantees that the Rax is going to go down.
Okay,
like,
well,
no,
they get
no
5.
questions. The Aegis is going to be popped, like you mentioned. They can't save this, though. There's just no way.
Dire's bottom barracks is
Man,
Okay.
that is the bristleback trap, isn't it? You see this hero hitting your tower, and you go, man, we have to do something about this. We can't just let the bristleback hit our building. So what do? You commit a few spells. You're not really trying to kill him. But then eventually what happens is the bristleback stays in the base for so long that he gets low, and you feel like, oh, we can actually kill him now. Except that this entire time,
Yep.
he has not had his back turned. So he's taking like much more damage, and then he turns around, and then you just deal no damage.
Right.
And they commit to that fight, and they end up losing.
And the crazy thing is that they had AA Blast on top of him for the majority of that time, so he was not being affected by Vanguard or Horde regen. And still, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He had almost no pressure on him, though. Like, outside of just being in the 1v1 against Excalibur's Lone Druid. Not really much outside influence. He just got to do his own thing. Mid is where most of the focus was on him as well.
He's going in hard here. I mean,
That is a little optimistic. I think at this stage they're feeling a little bit desperate. Like something has to happen. They need to find a pick or make a big play in order to get themselves back into the game. And I don't think that line of thinking is necessarily wrong. He probably just felt more safe than he actually was, because a couple of seconds ago there was actually a ward on the side of Crescendo that was in their woods. So maybe he just felt like he was actually safe there to go for a play like that, and it was just unfortunately mistaken.
well, round 2
He's got a Lotus now too.
is on your buildings. Pops off the Lotus, pops off the Kofi.
There is also a 10-second BKB on this Weaver.
I'm not sure whether he even beats it, but for now it's at the Kaka in the front. Looks like they'll back off and finish that Rex.
So I guess one of the issues that Crescendo ran into, other than their support combination just being forced to move together the whole time, is that the Lone Druid still felt a little bit slow. Because he couldn't get the Radiance up fast enough to really influence the fights. 4 Protect 5 did a really nice job of defending their tier 1 in the bottom lane when Crescendo, like really early on, as soon as Excalibur hit 7 or 8, they TP'd down there in force and tried to take the tower, and they couldn't. Just because of how good of a start that this Puck and this Clockwork had. So that alone, I think, just put them at this huge advantage, where Crescendo are just constantly playing on the back foot. This Clockwork hits a fast level 6. There's a blink and a veil up on Puck at like, what was it, 14, 15 minutes, something like that?
The Veil came at like 7.
Right.
And then the Blink, I think it was much, maybe like 12 even.
12 seems pretty insane.
I mean, he was having an insane start, so.
Still some time for Crescendo to make a play.
Yep.
Their team fight is still really strong. And they are kind of close to AA having that level 2 ultimate, which will also help a lot.
Sure. But Crimson Guard is going to be delivered here to the Bristleback, so pipe Crimson. I don't know, Andy. It looks a little bit hard here to.
I'm just looking for the silver linings.
Okay.
You know, something that they can potentially make a turnaround off of. I mean, obviously it's rough. Like, Edakaka is just huge. He's got, like you mentioned, the Crimson finished. You just got to send it out.
Yep.
Every single tanky, like, mid-game item you can possibly buy is almost in his inventory right now. So you can tell just by how they've itemized that they had one thing in mind. They wanted to end the game at around this point. You know, 35, 40 minutes, maybe stretching a little bit later than that. Might get a bit risky, depending on how farmed the Lone Druid and the Ember are.
Yeah. Ember doing his best to actually push this lane and perhaps hope that 4 Protect 5, instead of pushing their base, will send a hero or two to defend. But Rocket Flare is a spell. E-Skill is spamming it, and it's going all to the top lane to at least ease out the push. 4 Protect 5 thinking about waiting for Roche? I mean, they have all the time in the world, but
They're not really in a rush. At this stage, there's so little map control for Crescendo that even if they did delay the game by like 15, 20 minutes, as long as they're adamant about controlling their enemy's jungle and keeping everyone kind of restricted to base, there's not really any efficient farming that can be done. You know, it's all 4 Protect 5 controlling the map, farming all 3 lanes, farming the enemy jungle. you know, even farming their jungle if they want to play it super greedy. You do run the risk of spreading yourself a little bit thin and someone getting picked off, but most of the time it's worth it.
I think the eventual Aegis for 4 Protect 5 lines up very nicely with Weaver's Deso timing. He's got enough to pick up one of the Mithril Hammer right now. And likely we'll be able to finish it alongside the Aegis pickup. And like you said, Crescendo is going to be using this time and opportunity to look for a pick here. If they could pick a Weaver or Bristle, you know, maybe they could even think about high ground to force out a buyback or two. But for now, Crescendo is looking desperately but does not find anybody.
It's a move that they kind of need to make. It's just unfortunate when you're stuck in these situations where you have to go for a play with no vision. Like you're walking across the map into an area where you pretty much can't see anything.
Yep.
And you're just kind of hoping. They will be able to place a sentry and get a D ward down. They do get the rune ward placed as well while they moved across. So it is a multi-purpose smoke, but unfortunately not going to result in any pickoff.
Well, no Aegis to wait for now. And the Kaka now tries the top lane with this team. Obviously, the mid lane towers are somewhat roughed up, more roughed up rather, than the top.
Excalibur is he's getting up there. He's actually the highest net worth in the game right now.
Yep.
He finishes AC on the bear. He's going for the basher. They want to try to look for a fight here. Puck is not in the area. He does have a TP though. He's going to go to Shrine.
Roshan gonna show up for work relatively soon. Dancing Dragon gonna get caught out away from his team. Burrow Strike and Ice Blast. That's gonna be a kill. Glimmer Cape shouldn't protect him too much. I say that he's still alive for now. Freezing Field being channeled up. Will finally die. Coil finds Cinderin. Do they have detection? Looks like Savage Roar will bring him back out. He breaks the coil by blinking away, but they know he's stunned. Rocket Flare giving vision on top of Cinderin. Slash Strike blinking back in. He jumps away. Now back in. Cinderin's still in Viz right now. Can he not blink away? No, Clockwork Hook keeps him stunned. Now finally he defensively yules. Blink unable to be cast. And he's dead.
Really hard to get away from that team. Lots of ways to cancel Blink. Some targeted AoE spells to hit you in Sandstorm, so you can't really get away.
Yeah, he was Sandstorm for like a good 3-4 seconds, but
yeah.
I guess, you know, with Rocket Flare, the hook, and all that jazz.
Well, Quills are 3-second cooldown.
Right.
So
I guess he's spamming it.
Yeah, it depends. I think you can technically get away in that situation, but you have to be like perfect timing. You need to like Yules at a point where your Blink Dagger is like a second or so off cooldown already, and then when you land, you can just immediately blink away. But very hard to escape. So Roshan going to be claimed here. AA Blast is going to scout it dying pretty much.
Oh, they got a cheese as well. I think Kaka could pick that. Whatever.
They do have bottom lane pushed in pretty far though.
Yeah, but bottom lane's the lane that has big creeps already as well, so like they don't need to tend to it too much.
Well, they will need to tend to it if Excalibur gets to the tower with his bear. I think that's the plan. Try to...
Excalibur, does he have the axe? No, he doesn't.
No, he's actually down here though. Like
okay.
he's with the bear.
Yeah, BBK is also down here. Just making
They want to try to force them back.
Top lane though, Cinderin, he cannot get caught out here. Gonna TP home. And he'll dodge a bullet.
Buying some time.
I mean,
we could be seeing...
Yeah, Excalibur just like hit the building right now. In fact, well, no, he's going to go for E-Skills first.
He is dead.
Yeah, he's going to hook to buy a little bit more time. The cogs push him in back, but to me, this is a victory in itself here for Crescendo. They will lose the bear. Top lane looks like a fight is going to break out as well. Epicenter is going to go, and now Edakaka in a lot of trouble. He does have the cheese, but he has Ice Blast on top of him right now. We'll need to wait that out before he activates the cheese. EGM dies. Weaver has the BKB activated. He eats the cheese! Left from Maj comes through, and now Excalibur being surrounded. Savage Roar will push 2 heroes away, but Sakuchi now right back here on Excalibur. He is going to get purged up. That rapid buff gone. Excalibur will go down. Did force out a time lapse on 5. A lot of damage output, but a lot more healing on the way here. Buybacks 1 and 2 does come out, and the glyph for Protect 5, despite the fact that they got initiated on multiple fronts, their item advantage is just way too much. They now go on Crescendo, or sorry, they go on 5, but he has the Aegis, so he's going to be fine. Ice Blast comes in as well at the Kaka, still very, very healthy. Cinderin. Sandstorm's up. BBK will go down. Couple more right clicks. He's chanting around. There's going to be nothing. Ake is going to get found. Ake is going to probably die in a couple more right clicks. They're not going to even chase Ake. They want the Rax. Objective gamer here. for 4 Protect 5.
GG.
That's going to force out GG from Crescendo. And very good victory here for 4 Protect 5. They had the advantage, threw the puck early on, and they never let up. Very well played.
Yeah, the early laning phase for BBK was a definite struggle. You have to give him credit, though. He did a really good job at recovering. It was just that bristleback. He was so unbelievably tanky at some stages in the game. Like when he was bottom, getting hit by the tier 3 tower, like 3 different heroes. And they also had a defensive glimmer on him as well when the cold feed actually went off, and they just overcommit to that one fight, and I think that's kind of where the game started to really fall apart for Crescendo.
Yep.
Because they commit so many resources, they don't end up winning the fight. They end up getting a dieback on their Ember, who also didn't have a good lane. Like there was just so many things that kind of compounded him ever really being able to fully come back. And then, you know, Cinderin had a pretty nice laning phase, got an early blink. We saw some nice eppies, like middle lane was a great example. They got everyone really low, but they just didn't have like that last, you know, 200, 300 damage that they really needed to secure the kills.
So I know hindsight's 20/20, but do you feel like the Rubik last pick, it looked like a good Rubik game, but the way it played out because the puck was so farmed, it didn't ended up being one?
I think that maybe if you play this game again, you play the supports a bit more greedy and try to get less kills.
Okay.
Like get some pulls going, like try to get Ake and EGM a little bit to start with before you start like running all over the place trying to make things happen. Because when you walk around as 2, if you don't find anything, it's just so much time that you just don't get back. And then you get further behind, further behind. Like at the end of the game, Ake had less than 4,000 net worth. It was a 38-minute game.
Bought a lot of wards, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure he bought a lot of wards, and like I said, as a 5 player, it's weird to see AA, because AA is normally that guy who gets items, you know?
Sure.
Eventually he gets the Midas, eventually he gets the Aghanims, but because EGM is the 4 player, he gets pretty much everything that the AA
He didn't
would
get much
normally
more.
get.
He had a little bit shy of 6K
Right.
net worth either because of the game that he was in. But that's going to do it here for Protect 5. Wins a good one over Crescendo. And if you like the team, we're going to see them again. Coming up next, we got Singularity versus 4 Protect 5. We're going to take a short break. But when we do come back, that is going to be the best one waiting for you. He's been Breaking Dad, and I'm just broken. But we'll be back, guys, for the next one.